Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's discuss about Brahman, the spiritual scientist as we know from the beginning till today. I know the spiritual scientist term is a modern term to say spirituality and science are the two sides of the same coin. And Brahman is the beginning of that and the person who knows A to Z of everything in the universe. Now, the question, a Brahman is a spiritual scientist, is my statement. A Brahman is in tune with Atma, the indwelling soul, as well as other souls by and large. He recognizes every aspect of the divine nature as the nature is known. The ancient Indian sages were spiritual scientists. Now, let us recognize three forms of Atma and Brahman first, and there are 7 forms of divine nature as such. Now comes to the question of understanding Atma, the primordial divine soul as we know. I still go by the explanation given by Sanatana Dharma. The divine soul is Atma and it cannot be cut, burnt or dissolved. It is indestructible, insoluble, integrated, indistinguishable, inexhaustible and eternal. Everything in the universe has come from Atma. Everything is sustained by Atma. Everything will finally go back to Atma. This is a statement which Sanatana Dharma makes it very clear from the very beginning of this Indian civilization or Akhand Bharat. My honest perception, the above qualities are perceptible in the inert dark matter called the noble gases or inert matter. And what are the main things? You have helium, you have neon, you have argon, krypton, xenon, astatine. These are the 6 things which stand out. The inert dark matter cannot be cut, burnt and dissolved. There is that Atma. So the description given by Sanatana Dharma about Atma and medical understanding and noble gases inert matter is almost, it is identical. Not almost, it is just the same. Now I would like to give you the scientific evidence. The science of periodic table, I am a great admirer of, I am a scientist, I am a divine mathematician, I understand physics completely, I understand chemistry completely, I understand medical sciences. As a result, all the 64 arts and sciences I understand completely. And I make in this particular thing very clearly that dark, smaller, inert matter is the Brahman souls, as you can see on the right end. You have hydrogen in the first and helium other side. Then you have neon, then you have argon, then you have krypton, you have xenon and astatine. At the same time, size of the orbit of atoms, as it proceeds from the left to the right, size reduces. At the end, it becomes a chart and has become dark because the light is focused inside, not outside. And this is something which I have already explained. In the light of that, we will understand how is the divine souls and how many are there, what make a difference, how we can understand the spiritual science of divinity so that we can be a perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy beings. Now comes the question. Did we have a discussion about Brahman in the beginning? I do know, as I told you, Sanatana Dharma talked about it in Vedas and Upanishads. But there is a discussion recorded in Brihad Upanishad, as you can see in this particular thing, the cosmic conversation between Yajnavalkya and Gargi. And that's it. And this discussion was conducted by King Janak of Treta Yuga during Ramayana period to see the people, rishis who knew about Brahman completely. And discussion was only on Brahman, not anything else. In the process, they had a lot of discussion between Yajnavalkya and other things. At the end, there is a discussion between Maharishi Yajnavalkya and Gargi about the Brahman. The dialogue goes on from stage to stage. Finally, Yajnavalkya tells Gargi, stop here because beyond a particular level you cannot go, your head will break. And as a result, the discussion was stopped and that is it. This is where I take over from. That conversation did not go to the level which I would like to take this particular dialogue with respect to Brahman as such. Now, let's start from the highest Brahman, the first Brahman soul as such. I talk about it. Sanatana Dharma talks about Nirakar-Nirgun-Brahman. That means the formless, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent universal consciousness. That soul is Nirakar-Nirgun-Brahman. Nirakar means formless, Nirgun no quality, and it's the ultimate thing. This is accepted by Sanatana Dharma. My perception is the inert matter, astatine, is formless, cannot be seen. It is beyond the comprehension of five senses or the eyes of a human being. But I do know people like me who can see 10 dimensions of DIVYANK. We can see it, and science can see that under the electron microscope. I do know compound microscope cannot see, eyes cannot see, but electron microscope can see. And this is what I am going to take you to. Electron microscope structure are the subatomic particles of astatine to show that this can be seen. A genuine Brahman can experience astatine also within the self. And this is again something which I have been saying. Unless until you experience the beauty of Rig Veda or Vedas, Upanishads or universal consciousness within your physical body, only then you have a conviction. Otherwise knowledge has no meaning at all. And I am very clear. Others give you idea, but conviction comes from you within the body, and that has to be shown to the world. And I make it very clearly, unless until you have the conviction, anything in the world will not make any sense. And I am giving it because I have experienced that. And this is what I said, genuine Brahman can experience astatine. He will have a perfect throat and thyroid gland. That means it is connected with thyroid itself. Now astatine, let's see, has a power of 252 spiral rounds. That means, as you can see the picture down, you have the center nucleus, which is protons and neutrons, and also the electrons which go around. This is again three: electrons, protons and neutrons. And electrons are the one which are dynamic, protons are in the center, and neutrons are made of these two components themselves. That is something which I have already explained. So astatine is used for thyroid cancer treatment even today. That means medical science has come to that level that you can use astatine as an instrument to treat thyroid cancer itself. Now I am going to give you an experience, how to experience so-called Nirakar-Nirgun-Brahman within yourself. As I have written, a continuous turning around dance. You stand in one particular place and go around yourself again and again, completely non-stop. If you can do it for more than 252 places, and I can go to 260, but mind you, you should be straight, your hand should be parallel to the ground, your body should be like a gravity axis. If you can do it, you can go to any amount of times. I have done it over and over. As a result, I have purified every aspect, including my thyroid thereafter. Now I can talk about perfect things, express it out beautifully by my thyroid vocal cords without any inhibition at all. And that is the most beautiful part of experiencing the highest Nirakar-Nirgun-Brahman through an exercise of yoga of this particular nature, where you stand, go around with the parallel without falling thing, and at the end you can take 3 turns and stand out. You should not fall. If you do that, you will have an experience of astatine. Now comes the question of applied science of astatine. Modern science is doing experiment, and the purification of Vishuddhi throat chakra is done by astatine, as this particular picture can see. You can see the cells, and you can see the tumors, how it works out. We are not going into detail. Just to prove it, the science is reaching that particular level of thing. That's what I said, spiritual scientist. I understand spirit, I understand, but these answers cannot be given by scientists because the man-made concept equipments are good, but their understanding of the concept, what is goes on, is very deficient. I am bridging the gap so that we have the perfect knowledge of Vishuddhi Chakra, the throat, and what happens, and with respect to this itself is the Nirakar-Nirgun-Brahman. Down Sat Chakra Nirupana is the Tantra, is the oldest book. In this particular book, we talk about different chakras, and I know you have a Muladhara chakra at the bottom with 4 petals, then you have Vishuddhi with 6, Nabhi with 10, Anhata with 12, and Vishuddhi with 16. And I can tell you, Vishuddhi chakra can, with 16 petals, is actually talking about vowels which are 16 in number, and that is the beauty of Sanskrit. And that I am making a statement. Most powerful language in the world is Sanskrit, because 16 multiplied by 25 plus 16 by 25 is into 560. But I know real Sanskrit can be, as nature designs, is more than 1,000. That's why the petals of Sahasrara chakra are 1,000. This is only a 16. Now comes the basic power of Sanskrit language. I said there are 16 vowels, which I have shown it. Then you have 11 special numbers and 25 constants. 16 into 11 is 176, plus 25 into 16, 400. That's why to 576 number is only from that. And you can even see the first line has got 11, second 16, third 25. Even that is according to DIVYANK sequence. Now comes to the second highest Brahman soul, which is Sakar, which I can see, Sargun, which has the qualities, which is the Brahman, the divine soul. The potent, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, universal consciousness is that. Is the second in that, which can be seen. My perception, inert matter, Xenon, has got that particular quality of being Sakar, Sargun, everything. A genuine Brahman can experience Xenon and Sakar, Sargun, Brahman, as such is my statement. Now comes the Xenon. It has a power of 54 electrons, 54 protons, and 54 neutrons. What is there inside the nucleus has got 108. Now I am bringing it very close to another divine number, which Sanatana Dharma talks as 108. So here you have seen other as a neutron 108. Here you have protons and neutrons put together as core as 108 and power of 54 outside. And this is something which is seen in iodine, the next in line in halogen. Ascending the last one, the one before that is iodine as such. Now the scientific evidence. An iodine atom has a 53 electrons. An ion of iodine has 54 electrons, which is like xenon. This is again which I said, whether you are a metal or halogen, once they become an ionic form, they become like inert matter, and that is what I meant. You can experience that when things start happening. An ion is a splitting of electron plus protons as such, and gives a number which becomes active in the process in functional part, and that's what I've shown. Sodium and chloride, sodium 11 becomes 10 and chloride with 17 becomes 18. When put together they have a combination fantastic salts. Same thing in this particular thing, iodine is very vital for thyroid itself. Now let us explore the science of blue throat Nilkant of Lord Shiva. You can see the picture here of primordial ocean. There is the ancient book which talks about Sagar Manthan or Smudra Manthan and churning of primordial, a symbiotic churning by gods and girls. You can see the picture. One side you have gods, another side you have demons. They are churning with the Vasuki, the snake, and the center you have a Meru mountain, which is like a vertical column, and as the churning goes up, there is the emerging of blue black or blue violet poison which comes up, which is called hala hala. This is something which has been recorded, but everybody thinks this is a particular story. It has no scientific concept, and now I'm trying to say there is nothing in Sanatana Dharma which is not full of science. It's so high that scientists cannot think, because they haven't reached that level of truth of the universal consciousness. Now, in the churning of problems, when I say, when they talk about these the pictures, Devas, Asuras, and the center Meru mountain is Ida, Pingala, three nadis. And then you have the 5 chakras which are very important in Tantra itself. Mooladhara chakra, Swadhisthana chakra, Nabhi, Anhata, and Vishuddhi. These are the 5 things which are going to give you 5 senses experience to understand the beauty within your body. Every man with 5 senses itself can experience the unity within itself. Divinity as such is within us. Entire Rigved is within us. Aitreya Upanishad is within us. Yajurved is within us. Samved is within us. Other Ved. Every atom is what is talked about. We can experience beauty of all within, and I have done that. Now the question, experience of, I had experience in 92 when I learnt a yoga, and during the process of seeing a light from Mooladhara chakra to Swadhisthana chakra to Nabhi to Anhata to Vishuddhi, I have already explained. By the time I reached the Vishuddhi chakra, I got a jerk and I found myself in a white bag of light. And that is what was my experience of dot, shunya, ara, or atma as such. And I have already explained, this is only summary. I am giving it as a reminder of a sequence of step by step, how nature unfolds its secret through our inner experiences. Now this is a picture of Samudra Manthan or Sagar Manthan or churning of ocean. As you see, the Pingala and demons, gods, and this as such, and there are 14 different kind of words, including Amrit and Hala Hala, plus other things which are there, which we are going to talk about it as we move on. So this is where the first thing which I am talking about is Hala Hala, as you can see right on top. Now the core chakras and nadis I had experienced in 93, that was the first light. Now Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna Nadi and the chakras inside I experienced in 93. This is a picture of that. Then rising of Hala Hala, the poison is which I am talking about. It is not a mythology, it is a true story. It is science of the highest order which is given as a matter is made me understand science and medical science 1,000 times better than I had understood by the information from medical science from the world as such. Now blue-violet poison, Hala Hala, fumes started rising during churning of the primary. It's the first thing which statement of Sagar Manthan talks about. The poison started killing the living being is the second statement. Everybody got scared and approached Lord Shiva is the story. Lord Shiva collected the poison and started drinking. That's the time goddess Parvati put a snake around the neck of Lord Shiva, and after that it became blue, and many people have given explanation. I'm not going to that. Is this description a myth, fiction, or pure science is something which I'm going to tell you, because we are now talking about second thing, Sakar Sargun Brahman, and it is related with iodine or iodine. Now in this particular picture, let's straight away get it. Blue violet poison, as the chemistry says very clearly, you heat those brown color things, when they are heated they blue blind, you can see in the picture very clearly. Chemistry experiment and Savita has given it very clearly, and more detailed information. You are going to see more detail as we go on later, as we expand. But this is a reminder. It is not a story, it is a science. Second thing, we also know tincture of iodine is antimicrobial, and tincture of iodine can be applied as a first aid. Why? Because it can kill microbes. povidone iodine bath before surgery is also given because it can also do antimicrobial. They kill living organisms, so as a result you can show the iodine is killing, and that is what was in that particular thing, is a scientific evidence. Now comes the third thing. The snake around the throat meant that there is something in the throat which should take iodine. It's talking about trapping of iodine in thyroid gland and convert into thyroxine. This is impeccable wisdom of the highest order in the picture form. She did not put it around anywhere else, around the snake, only the neck, so it does not go down, it gets trapped in thyroid gland. You can see the picture very clearly. Now trapping of iodine in the thyroid gland has been scientifically given, and this has made things very clear how iodine from blood is taken, how thyroxine is made, and how it can function in the body as such. Is the picture very clear? Now I am making one statement where I go beyond what modern science talks about. Thyroid hormone is supposed to be calorigenic, diabetogenic, and BMR, etc. But I do know it is a thermogenic heat forming hormone, not just calorigenic or diabetogenic or BMR, and it can produce heat. You can see in the picture very clearly. Thyroid hormone goes and works in the mitochondria, converts triglyceride and broken down protein product, convert into heat rather than ATP, like this. So this is again something, this picture and that particular thing made me clear. This is how it should be. Now the question of medical science again. Hypothyroidism is known to be intolerance of heat. Hyperthyroidism is intolerance to heat. And this is clear. But then they should have also thought about it. That central thing is heat alone. When it's less, you cannot take cold. When it's too hot, you start sweating. Perfect thing is required, and that is what it is. Perfect thyroid hormone can give you heat, heat and heat, and that is the objective. Now come to the third highest divine soul. I call it Anubhav Brahman as such. This is third, which you can experience. Exponent, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, universal consciousness. My perception, we are talking about inert matter, Krypton. A genuine Brahman can experience Krypton within the body itself. It has its own functions, anatomy, psychology as such. We are talking about the third eye. And I say that 36 protons, 36 electrons, and 36 is again 108 only. And it is used for myoclonic seizure of epilepsy when you start getting unconscious epilepsy fits which work on the muscle. That means it has something to do with calcium, muscles, and that as such. That means ions of bromide 35 become 36, and they will see to it that you will never get an epilepsy. You will not go to unconscious, subconscious state. That is what I meant. One of the treatment for that could be bromide, and this is what I say. Bromide therapy is a medication used to treat severe epilepsy causing myoclonic seizure. Bromide comes in two formulas: triple bromide, three different variations of bromide: ammonium bromide, potassium bromide, and sodium bromide. These three bromides are very clear. You have sodium, you have potassium, and you have ammonium. Is again a protein component. You can also have a single bromide of potassium which can do the work. I think now those three things which are very important, as a Brahman itself, I have explained that very clearly. Now the fourth one is Argon 40. I am not getting into detail. This is what Adi Prashakti, which is known in that. We will discuss in the next film. Fifth is a goddess Gayatri with neon 21 and the power of 10. Gayatri has got 18, Gayatri has 10, Adi Prashakti is 18. And this is, Gayatri is responsible for spiral galaxy and solar system, where Adi Prashakti is Maha Brahmand, higher than spiral galaxy. We will discuss that after that. Sixth divine soul is goddess Aditi, the helium 4, which is the human soul as such inside. According to Rigved or Vedas, mother and daughter of Daksha the king is Aditi, and Upanishad, it is Aditi, which is the mother and daughter of Aditya the sun. I have already explained. We will explain in detail when we go to the six divine state as we move on. Then come to the seventh. I bring it to Aditya the sun, the hydrogen element. So you come to the very beginning of periodic table, and I say hydrogen is Aditya the sun, and it is in the sun that hydrogen is converted into helium, which becomes a soul at 6000 degree temperature. I have already explained. But then also showed the divine soul we can experience the sun in the middle and 6 planets around which are moving around. These 7 form the divine sense, and there is universal consciousness throughout the world, and that is something I already explained. And here you can see sun moving, you can see other 6 also moving, like Monday is the moon, Tuesday is Mars, Wednesday is Mercury, Thursday is Jupiter, Friday is Venus, and Saturday is Saturn. These are only things which move, which have been universally seen by everybody. Astrology and astronomy is based on that. I think this is also something I learned. This is also soul from which we have come to. Entire solar system, everything owes to the sun, and these elements as such we work in system. And that is what I am going to talk about it as we move on. Now come to this stage. I am not going to talk. Whatever spoken is there in this, and let's put it at that. Thank you very much.